We're back here in the final segment of our program with Vivian Whylly as we talk about Black history in Black History Month here. And we spoke about many of the settlements, but some of the slaves from the western part of the island, we know ended up in Fox Hill.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct.
And Godfrey Enius will tell you about the Igbos and the
Congos,
who spent a tremendous amount of time in Fox Hill.
Yeah.
And so there was there were families who were living in
Gambia especially,
yes.
Because if you look at the tribal makeup of Fox Hill, it is identical to the tribal makeup of Gambia. Gambia people, if you look at them, they're extremely dark. Fox Hill people are extremely dark. These are tribal traits. You don't just get dark. It's genetic. Gambia and Fox Hill were, and Adelaide and Clifton, all of these areas were intertwined because at that time there were no roads. People traveled by boat.
Right.
One of the reasons why Fox Hill Day is celebrated after Emancipation Day is because on Emancipation Day, the proclamation was read in the West.
Yeah.
And it took
about a week to get to Fox Hill.
Fox Hill.
Yes. Yes.
And that is why they celebrate basically a week later.
Yeah.
And the Fox Hill historians will tell you the same thing because the story doesn't change. It's a fact.
And people moved between Gambia, Clifton, and the city by horse and drays.
Right. When they had the availability, they would go by donkey and cart.
Yes.
And horseback.
Right.
Horseback was usually used by white people. The donkey carts were used by the coloreds.
By the coloreds.
The houses that the white folks lived in, or the masters lived in, were cut stone masonry. The houses that the Africans lived in were wattle and dub, where they used the lime kiln, make the mortar, put one rock, throw mortar, put the next rock, nothing. But it lasted a long time. You look at the buildings out at Clifton, you look at the buildings in Gambia, in Adelaide, and in Fox Hill. You look and you see that they're the buildings with walls 2 feet thick. And they've been there for hundreds of years, withstood hundreds of hurricanes.
Yes. Vivian Whylly, it is important for our young people to understand the history of the country.
Yes.
And the evolution of the society.
Yes.
We've done a poor job, haven't we?
We have been the servants of people who have perpetrated a piece of brainwashing on us from slavery to make us think that we're nothing, we're nobody, nothing good can come out of Baintown. You remember? You remember that saying in the Bahamas? Well, and even today, you hear Bahamians don't want to work, this and that. Well, why would a foreigner come to this country and invest in it if he ain't gonna make no money? So what we've been trotted on, and we've decided that we're nobody. Our children, our average is D. That's nonsense. Half of the children in the schools in the Bahamas, their parents speak Creole, so they don't get any help with their homework. There's not I'm not making an excuse. What the Ministry of Education's job is to set the history right and write it.
But we don't have a sense of history
because people
in the
like
country.
me, when I stand up and I say, guys, I have the documents, what they want me to do after spending money, lots of money, and doing my research and my work, they want me to give it to them and still be poor. Why should I sacrifice my work to give to somebody who is getting paid to be a politician, it's getting paid to be a teacher, it's getting paid, and then I must give mine involuntarily. Mind you, it is my intent to continue to do my work, but I need help.
Yeah, but beyond that, I'm talking about there are a good number of Bahamians who believe that things as they are in the Bahamas, they are as they were in the Bahamas. You talked about traversing between, say, Bay Street or town and Gambia by horse or by donkey and or boat. There are many people who would not be able to wrap their heads around that.
No, well, the thing is...
And so we need to talk about how we have lost track of our history.
Yes, that it's so sad, Randall. I think, and this isn't no condemnation on anybody. I think one of the reasons why we have so much problems in the country with crime, with joblessness, with just poverty in itself, it's because the people don't know how far we've come as a people, because nobody has recorded the history and taught it to the children so that they may know, lest they forget. History repeats itself. If you came as a slave and you keep thinking you ain't nobody, you're going to end up as a slave.
But the identity of a people is not well known, Vivian Whylly.
The reason why is for a long time, we've just gotten control of the books in the country for 50 years. The Europeans, the British, they've had control of the books in the country for 350 years. One of the things that always amazes me about a politician is most of them are lawyers. The system that is being carried out in our parliament is the British Westminster system. And it is predicated on the master-slave relationship. So I smile when I see the young Bahamian barristers who are black and smart and champions, and they don't see that they're just mimicking the works and the acts of white people. That's why I believe that the Privy Council doesn't have any say, shouldn't have any say in an independent country like ours.
But beyond that, there are a whole lot of people who do not read. We are an oral. We are from an oral tradition.
You know, back in the day, other than William Whylly, reading and writing wasn't encouraged, because then you could know where you are when you can read the name of the street. You can know what is for sale when they have a slave sale. You could read the public notice. Otherwise, they would have blinded us by keeping us illiterate. They didn't have to scorch our eyeballs anymore. You just don't teach them how to read, and they can look at something and don't know what it is. So that brought about the oral history. It's not all bad.
Yes, but there are people today who are able to read, but who won't read. They just
We have
don't
been
read.
trained as black people to hate, distrust, and fear each other. And it's manifesting itself today with the level of intolerance that we have towards each other. We are all children of Amun-Ra, all of the black people. One thing about being black that will always remain genetically: you cannot have a white child. If you are 1% black, you black.
Vivian Whylly, thank you very much. We're flat out of time, and I thank you so very much for sharing here today in this Black History Month. You've been very kind to come by. Thank you so very much.
Thank you again, Mr. Jones.
Thank you for watching and listening to our program today, and we hope that it has been quite educational and, as I always say, illuminating. Good evening, everyone.